Welcome back to Parenting Skills for the Real World, and this lecture is going to cover how to fill in an ABC chart, also known as an antecedent behavior consequent chart. Shall we look at the ABC chart? Okay, so you either have a digital copy, and there's the example one and the blank one for you to utilize. You're welcome to make as many copies as you like. So for the first example, I have a 4-year-old boy. It has the date. And also, I like to note the day of the week because that does have a lot of effect on what's going on with behavior. Is it a weekday? Is it the Sunday, day before school starts, or Saturday? You guys were at baseball games all day, etc. So each day holds a lot of data and information. So you're going to have a start time. It can be approximate. And the setting, home, bedroom, pretty self-explanatory. And these are very helpful because every single thing in here has something to do with what's going on with your child and where the behaviors might be coming from. Okay, so antecedent, all that just means is what happened before the observable behavior occurred. So sometimes that's a little hard to figure out, but do your best. So in this particular chart, the verbal instruction from mom, get dressed, it's time to go to Aunt Beth's. So at that point, the child threw their tablet across the room, said no with a raised voice, and slapped me. This is mom filling it out. And I tried to get him dressed myself. So the consequence is not the punishment. The consequence is whatever happened after the behavior. So it can include a punishment, such as grounded from tablet and video games, did not go to Aunt Beth's because he refused to get dressed all day. So that shows two things. You can note how he was punished or whatever consequence occurred, but also if the antecedent or whatever instruction was given didn't happen, that's also important to note too, because he didn't want to go to Aunt Beth's and the behavior that he displayed got him what he wanted. And over here in the end time, I like to note there's two different things. By 8:55, about approximately 15 minutes, all the behaviors they were noting, slapping, threw tablet, said no with raised voice, all of that stopped except for the child changing. So refusal to change, 9:45 p.m., possibly we could assume that that's when it was time to change into pajamas and go to bed. Maybe, maybe not. We can assume. Now, the next example, an 8-year-old girl on a Wednesday at 4:20 p.m. So the setting is in the car just picked up at school. She wanted a snack, that's the antecedent, and I/mom or dad or caregiver told her, I don't have any food right now, but we will get one at home. Well, that wasn't good enough. Unbuckled seatbelt, hit brother with a closed fist twice, and then spit on the siblings. So that was the behavior that occurred. Consequence, pulled her off her brother. I buckled her belt, held hands to prevent her from hitting me, mom. No snack, wait for dinner. So this took about 8 minutes. So I'm guessing that pulling over the car also occurred, but there's not always a lot of room. So do your best to just write what you feel is necessary. Another example, a 12-year-old boy on a Friday night at 8:55 p.m. You're at a Chinese restaurant. It's a buffet. He has been playing video games the entire time and not eating. And then when the antecedent of let's go occurs, the child kicks chair, threw plate on floor, and repeated, I'm still hungry with raised voice approximately 10 to 15 times. The consequence of that, or the parent guardian, I apologized to the waitress as she cleaned up, put some food in a to-go box, and he need to work on my verb tense agreement. I apologize. He ate it at home, grounded from electronics 1 week. So with that data, it ended at about 9:10, so 15 minutes in the restaurant as he's kicking the chair, threw plate on the floor, and saying, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. It could be 5 minutes. It's still really difficult to work through that. That's very public for that behavior to occur. So he got his food just like he said he wanted, And we'll see how well grounding from electronics actually worked out, because that's really hard for one whole week to actually enforce that. Just so you know, a lot of kids are up after you go to bed on your electronics. I see them when they come to school and they are so tired, and they confess, well, I was up all night playing video games once mom and dad went to bed. So a lot of the parents that I work with, they actually have to completely disable their Wi-Fi after they go to sleep, or before they go to sleep. So that's an example of how to fill out these charts. Remember, we're doing this in a positive way. We're not trying to be critical of our children. We're just trying to observe the behaviors and also measure it. This is going to help you be able to see as they start to lessen, because, hey, even if that behavior in that Chinese restaurant happened and it used to be 15 minutes and it was only 2, it's still really difficult to deal with. And so sometimes having this data helps us be more positive. So here's a little fluffy doggy for you to have a brain break. Oh my, or a silly monkey. Or this one cracks me up. It just makes me think of Indiana Jones. I'm not really sure why, but Dr. Jones, wait for me. So we're going to go to the next lecture, which is how to fill in your frequency chart.